And welcome back to FDV's Tournament Qualifiers. Today we will be seeing the follower as a purple Protoss versus FDV's nelvahill, at least I think that's how it's pronounced, as our pink Zerg in the top right here. Map, Neoplanet SLE, and if you're noticing some beeps, that would just happen to be because it is peep mode, so the chat that is going on between them is not observable unless I go into their views, which of course I won't because I'm not, I don't know, I guess it sort of messes up this, and to be honest, they're probably talking about cows, since nelvahill has just recently discovered Rodrigo. Indeed, Rodrigo is awesome. We are seeing a pylon on the low ground, and the probe is deciding not to go scout, but rather go up here. Makes some sense. I mean, you can sort of keep the probe a little safe from anything that could possibly hit it this time. Even a 6 pool wouldn't be hitting until a few seconds from now, so not really much to worry about, honestly. Should be seeing a forge come down soon, I would think. And I do notice that my music is a little loud, starting to be a little day 9-like here, and we'll just fix, 100%, holy crap, fix that there. As he says, wouldn't be a daily without the sound problems. So we are back. Not seeing a spawning pool come down yet. If he does bring it down soon, it would be pretty standard. He might be going for a more risky opening, go hatch first. Not always advised against Protoss, and I do think that Rodrigo actually can block building placement. One of the disadvantages to having a glowing purple cow, but hey, whatever. Pylon is an interesting choice. I do sort of like it because that's actually a good wall off there. And yeah, that's pretty nice. And of course my mouse has frozen again. Always seems to freeze when like this. There we go. Got that fixed. And we are back to commenting on the game. Okay, we do see the spawning pool has come down instead of an expansion and an extractor. Maybe going for an early baneling bust. Don't think it'll do much. We do see though a gateway before expand. Not really a common thing to do, but if he does go for early aggression, this will be very useful. And there's the photon cannon, and Rodrigo is back inside. And this will also allow him to return that probe to mining much sooner, because the zealot will be out to block that area. Hatchery is down. This does probably mean that nelvahill will not be going for some sort of crazy one base all-in, which I have seen a lot of on this map. The short distances between these two bases can make that very effective. Do see the nice timing here that the gateway and photon cannon were finished just about the same time. He had the minerals to build a nexus. I do like that. I do not like not having any gas. That's not really a good thing. You'll really want to get your cyber core down as soon as possible. And you will want gas more than anything, because when you do a forge fast expand, what you're doing is you're saying, okay, this gives me time to defend, sort of from, day 9's rapid reads daily. These cannons and this wall off give me time to expand, because he can't break this without, banelings or a bunch of roaches. And normally Zerg will respond by taking a fast third, which means you have even more time. And it's not really safe to take your third versus a Zerg, because they could scout it pretty easily with an Overlord and decide to, just instead of spawning 4 drones, send 8 Zerglings to break that down. Force a cancel, force your army out of position, never a good thing. Anyway, so you want to use that time to tech, and you need gas if you want to do that. Also, gas is really important for getting warp gate. As you will see, his cyber core is done, but he cannot afford warp gate yet. Very important to get that upgrade. We are seeing roaches out. I canceled, that was 100, or it was 50, so I'm guessing he canceled a Overlord there. We are seeing roaches. Roaches, if he goes for a lot of them early on, he might be able to just push right through this. Cannons are strong, but even though they are strong, 20 damage is not all that much of a roach's health. It's 1/7. It would take 7 shots for a cannon to kill a roach. Roaches, on the other hand, do 16, so honestly it takes pretty much about the same. No, 300, and of course now I'm going to do math. Never the best idea. 5 times 16 is 80, 300, something like 4.5-ish. I want to say for that, so like 20 shots for a roach to kill a cannon. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's a little less than 20 shots for a roach to kill a cannon. So actually, cannons are pretty darn good when I think about it. The difference is of course you've got 6 roaches and 2 cannons, and it's really easy to get roaches. Roaches are cheap, they're pretty quick to make. You're going to have more roaches than cannons, and of course you can't reposition cannons. Although I am told that back in the beta for Wings of Liberty, cannons originally could teleport to areas where there was power, which I have to say would make cannon rushes so OP. I'm glad they did not do that. We are seeing Hydralisk Den down for Nelvahill. I would like to see a third base, but he is getting sort of reasonable saturation. Could do with a little more drones, definitely with that infestation pit coming down. Upgrades, not these kind, but his +1 would also be very nice. Should really be seeing that out of the follower as well. We'll just get rid of that little notification there. We are seeing Immortals, a good choice. I prefer to skip the Immortal. I know a lot of people always say get your Immortal with, you want to make Immortal Observer out of your robotics facility as your first thing you do. I skimp a bit. I don't really like the Immortal. I prefer to spend that money and go straight up to Colossus Tech, just chrono out 2 observers and go straight for the top. We are seeing a very nice Overlord spread. If the follower decides to do pretty much anything outside of his base, it will be noted. We do see a Robotics Bay down 2. I probably just missed that coming down. +1 and Zealot Charge. Very nice. Mothership Core, honestly a bit late, really. By this point in the game, the Mothership Core is not as useful, simply because, he could have a ton. And Photon Overcharge is very useful for surviving that early game, but it becomes less and less effective as the game goes on. Mass Recall and Time Warp are of course always nice. I do enjoy Time Warp because Ultralisks can't break it. And they're not really affected by it either, but the fact that they can't break it is very nice. That means that, when you lead with Ultralisks, all the units behind them will still be slowed, allowing you to deal with the Ultras first, and then the units behind them afterwards. Very, very good thing to do. He does not have an Overlord at this third base here. I honestly wouldn't like to see an Overlord here. I would prefer a buried Ling, like there, just because Lings are super cheap. It's harassment and scouting. Brilliant. I don't understand why Zerg players don't do that more often. I mean, why not, right? It's half a supply and 25 minerals, and you harass and scout at the same time. Brilliant. We do see double Evo chambers coming down. That means that even though he is behind in upgrades, he will soon be ahead, or at least equal with Follower. Follower is doing the smart choice from a single forge, which is +2 weapons after, you see a lot of lower league players go for +1 shields, like before anything else, and it's never the best choice. It just never is. It's the worst choice you could make, honestly. I mean, the only time +1 shields is great is if you're planning to go for a lot of Archons. Archons, of course, really benefit from that +1 shield, but even then, they only really benefit versus Marines. And Zerglings, like roaches, yeah, you'd be much better off going for +1 attack. Now we are seeing a sort of unusual third base out of follower. This is sort of an awkward positioning to defend against because this is a down ramp, which means that units... is this a down ramp? What is this? So that looks like that goes down, and that goes down. Okay, I guess this ramp goes up and then down. Either way, if there's an army here, unless you're holding this position right here, you have to defend at an awkward angle. They'll have the high ground advantage, something you don't want to give your opponent if you can help it. Yeah, you know what? This is a ramp up and then a ramp down. I actually sort of like the way that looks. But defensive-wise, not the best thing to be on. Anyway, yeah, and plus, of course, there's this area here and this area here, and you still have to worry about defending this. I much prefer to take this as a base, wall this off here with, pylons and gateways, and then position my army and a pylon, like pylon here or here even if you want to be really safe. Put my army here so that I'm able to defend from this location and be able to quickly move back to defend from a push from this location. Makes a lot of sense, and the wall off, of course, will delay any attempt to sneak through this area. Basically just makes you all that more safe against Zerglings, counterattacks, run-bys while there's a main push, all that sort of stuff. We are seeing a very scary looking army now out for him, but I don't know if scary is going to cut it. With Colossus out on the field, Zerg cannot stay at Lairtech, and we are seeing a hive out from Nelvahill, but we are not seeing very many drones, and we are not seeing hive tech units. We really need to be seeing either an Ultralisk Cavern come down or a Greater Spire. He doesn't have a Spire, and honestly I feel like it would be a mistake to go that route simply because Spire takes a long time to get down, and if you have this much supply, you can really expect that your opponent will have something similar. Yeah, 175. So we really can expect some... we don't want to start to try and match them, or, not to match them, sorry, but we don't want to engage in teching to something that will take us a long time to get there, because they'll max out way before we will, and then they'll just run over us, because they'll have, an army with 50 more supply. Plus, their army will be better, composition-wise. Never a good thing. We do see the Zerglings moving in here, focusing down the Nexus. Not entirely sure if that was the best thing they could have done. And it looks like Follower is going to completely just ignore that, leave it to its cannons. Looks like that worked. If he had gone for the cannons first, I get a feeling that he might have won that encounter. Does he have an observer with him to get those creep tumors? He does not. Little bit of a mistake. Honestly, you want to be clearing creep as you attack in case you lose your push. Killing the creep will prevent them from coming back after you. You can use mass recall to save your army and, just recall. Yep, there we go. But as this creep recedes, it'll prevent Nelvahill's ability to counterattack. We do see... Whoa. What is he doing? Looks like he has decided he cannot defend against this. He is going for a base race. Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. Protoss is very good in base race situations, especially with mass recall. They really don't have to base race if they don't want to. He could sacrifice his third, deal a huge amount of damage to the tech things here, then recall back. Looks like he is just going to run back here. So, oh yeah, those Hydralisks have been caught way out of position. Good fungal on Zealots. Those time warps are a little overlapped, but they will prevent... Yeah, he is not going anywhere. The force fields and time warp retreat is impossible. That is the game. He cannot rebuild this fast enough. He does not have the larva. He does not have the production, and he does not have the tech. Follower is going to go in for the kill. Yeah. I feel like the biggest reason why he crushed there is just this supreme upgrade advantage. There is no way that Zerg can handle this, especially without Ultralisks. Even with Ultralisks, I'm not sure if that would be enough. I mean, I can't really say, oh, you needed Ultralisks and whatever, because this is a very strong composition. Lots of Zealots, lots of Colossus, and Void Race. Void Race, of course, being there to deal with things like Corruptors and Ultralisks. So the real counter to this is probably like Ultra Hydra or something like that. Really gas intensive. Would have loved to have seen nelvahill on a couple more bases, like 4 or 5, if you wanted to go for something like that, which is basically the only counter. It's really the only thing you can do. But I guess you could go Swarm Host. No, you couldn't even go Swarm Host. It wouldn't work. You really need Ultra Hydra. Or Corruptor Muta might work too. Yeah, there are no Archons. Corruptor Muta would be a possible choice. Though, of course, Chrono Boosted Phoenixes produce so quickly. So very quickly. And we do see these Roach Hydra moving out. They look, oh god, they're not going to get caught out of position again. Oh crap. This is going to be oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, and the time warps. That is just painful to watch. Oh. Ouch. Yeah, okay, a real lesson when it comes to positioning for Zerg. You don't want your Hydras at your front. That is just the worst possible location for them, because they are super strong units, but super fragile unit. He really just needs to kill him now. It's over. He cannot. That micro. Oh god, it's just unnecessary. Immortal Colossus Void Ray. Ouch. Oh, I feel sorry for you, Nell. My heart goes out to you. And that is it. Nelvahill versus Follower. Follower wins.